This media is brought to you by Polyscope.
In the realm of tomorrow, where techniques mind, we ponder, we dream.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's great to finally meet you because this is how we meet each other nowadays over Zoom. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization, what you're passionate about?
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm Victoria Gallagher. I have been a certified hypnotherapist for the past 25 years.
Wow.
I
So
help.
you have hypnotized a lot of people.
I have hypnotized a lot of people,
Nice.
thousands, if not tens of thousands.
Wow.
And, whether it be in person or people that I've never even met before, I've hypnotized them through my offerings, my recordings, my app, courses, things like that. And, I got into this business because of the fact that, I was really burnt out as a stockbroker. I had sort of been
Oh, that is a
following.
harsh, harsh business.
You know what?
Absolutely. I can totally understand that.
Yeah, it definitely is. And especially when you just kind of lose your passion for it. I got into it sort of for the wrong reasons. When I say that, I just mean that, I was just following one step after another,
Right.
without really thinking about, what it was that, I really wanted to be when I grow up,
So you
right?
let the you let the
So
river flow around you and you just went whichever way it went.
exactly, exactly. So that's just kind of what happened.
Then you decided this is not for me any longer. Just you just had an epiphany one day and said this
Yeah,
is it.
one morning, it was like just really difficult for me to get out of bed. And I just, I went to my branch manager and I just said, I need a few days off and I just need to kind of, figure myself out. And so I went to this personal development retreat.
Hmm.
And, during that retreat, it was just so eye-opening. We did a lot of like closed eye techniques and really just, got in touch with ourself and our hopes and our dreams and everything.
Nice.
And so now, not only did I like just get a lot out of that retreat, but what it was is I just decided like this is the kind of thing that I want to help other people to open up to and expose other people to.
Wow, that's
And
amazing. It's almost like the life that you had up to that point sort of drove you into this and it gave you the answer to what you want to do next.
it really did. And it's so funny because so many of the things that I have achieved, or so many of the things I do right now and that I've achieved, you can kind of look back throughout different times in my past where I sort of said, oh, yeah, I think I have a little interest in this. Like, one day I said, I think I have an interest in the mail order business. And then
Hmm.
I found myself in a situation where, back in the day when people were ordering tapes and CDs off my website, guess what I was in? I was in the
Yeah.
mail order business.
Yeah.
I said that I wanted to be a singer and influence people with my voice. Well, I do use a microphone and I do record myself, not exactly singing,
Right.
but it is influencing people with the sound of my voice. So there was just like all these things. I loved playing with a tape recorder when I was growing up. I was fascinated with making
Me
recordings, and
too. My
guess what
brother
I
and
still
I,
do?
my brother and I created a radio show.
Did
Like
you?
it was like we were at 17 Rutledge Avenue in Canada, in Toronto, and we created a channel called Channel 17, and it was just us talking on the tape. We would like interview each other, and we would record bits off TV and stuff like that. Yeah, this is when we were little kids, so I
Yeah.
always loved doing that.
Yeah, no, it was so fun. It was so fun. My girlfriend down the street, she had a little Panasonic little tape recorder.
Nice.
And and I just recorded everything. I recorded the beginnings of the shows that I watched on TV. Remember that how they
Yes.
used to have all those? I had like a whole tape of all those So, intros to the shows, and then like I would have books on little plays, and my sister and I would just like record little plays and things like that.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
I wish I could find those. That's like the one little lost thing from my childhood that I had like this little box of about 30 tapes, and I wish I could just find those, but
Yeah,
they're long gone.
I know. I know. Which you probably, if you ever did come across them and you listened to them, you thought, "Oh my God, what was I thinking?"
Exactly. Probably lots of laughing.
So you've done this for how long now?
Now 25 years.
Wow,
So since
fantastic.
1990.
Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, since and it's it's taken many different twists and turns. I mean, you never really end up exactly in the same place that you intend to go.
Never,
Um,
never.
But that's the beauty of life is, if you just kind of go with the flow, the universe will guide you to where it is that you're meant to be. And if just allow yourself to kind of let go and detach from things having to be a certain way, I think that's where a lot of people get messed up when it comes to law of attraction and
Hmm.
manifestation is they get so attached to the end result or how it's supposed to happen or when it's supposed to happen. And, if you just leave yourself open and you have a specific idea of where you're going, but you're also willing to entertain the idea that well, maybe I don't have the exact right idea. So this is my focus. This gives me a target to aim for. But if it happens some other way, I think then that's really what's meant to be.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest problem with it is that people figure if you just think about your goal strongly enough, that eventually it'll happen, right? But it's
Yeah.
not necessarily like that because you can think about your goal as much as you want and you can work towards your goal as much as you want, but you don't necessarily have the control over your surroundings to be able to get there.
Exactly, exactly. So, you just have to listen to the guidance and look for the inspired actions that you need to take, to keep moving you closer in the direction of, I believe, your life purpose.
Right. But you still need to have a general direction. Like you can't just sort of sit at home surfing Facebook or whatever and going, oh, eventually something's going to fall in my lap. It's not going to happen, right? You do still need to have some forward movement of your own.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it is all about, really having a very clearly defined desire and goal for yourself and a place that you're going. But, sometimes there's going to be roadblocks
Hmm.
on the way to that. And sometimes, you can either throw a tantrum, throw a fit when those roadblocks happen, or you can enjoy the journey and enjoy the little twists and turns that life is bringing you to. And those twists and turns, I believe those are, these extra experiences, these bonuses that we're meant to experience.
Right.
And, they do end up taking us where we are really meant to go.
So what do you say to people who are skeptical about this? Because there's a lot of skepticism around law of attraction and manifesting and all that stuff. I mean, how do you convince them that it works?
Well, for one, convince is like kind of the key word
That's
there.
kind of a hard, I don't know. I guess that's a little too strong to convince
Yeah,
them, but
I kind
tease
of
them
let go
towards it.
of, yeah, I've kind of let go of trying to convince anybody that it works. I'm here for the person who has decided, I'm going to live according to the law of attraction. It's more of
Mm,
a lifestyle and a
right.
choice. And it's essentially it's about taking ownership and responsibility over what happens to you and over your life. Because so much of what has been created, we're here by design. We are
Hmm.
here because of the way that we have approached our lives. Either we did not make a plan, and so we just kind of let the wind take us wherever it took us. And we
Right.
have to own that. We have to take responsibility for that. or sometimes we just, we didn't listen to the guidance that we were given. And again, we have to take responsibility for that. We have to take responsibility for our attitudes and for like all the mornings maybe where we said, I don't really feel like getting up at 5 and going to the gym and working out. And so here I am, I'm overweight, or it's
Yep.
like it's no one else's fault, and or whatever it was, I didn't feel like getting up and working on my dream or taking that risk or doing whatever it is. So we have to accept responsibility for how we think generates how we feel, and how we feel generates typically the actions that we're taking, and the actions that we are taking generally leads us to the results,
Right.
whether they're positive or negative. So it's actually more about common sense than it is
Mm-hmm.
about mysticism,
Mm-hmm.
or something that. Now, is there a little bit of mysticism involved in it? I believe that when you are completely lined up, when you're doing everything on your end that you're meant to do, you're aligning your thinking, you're aligning your emotions, you're aligning your actions, you're aligning your vibration, your energy, all of those things. When you're completely in alignment, is there like a sixth sense? Is there a universe? Is there a spiritual side of things that can kind of step in and help move things along? I kind of believe there is. I
Mm-hmm.
can't prove that, like
Yeah.
that's not something, but I've just found too many times that there's just been all kinds of coincidences and lucky circumstances that have happened when you're fully in alignment. You've done everything that you can do on your own, and then something, grace happens, and
Right.
just by the grace of God, the universe, whatever, some miracle lands, some opportunity lands. And the thing is those opportunities are always there. It's just a lot of times we're not really honed in to see them
Right.
because people have very scattered focus, and they're focused all over the place. So when we get our focus on driven in one direction and toward the thing that, toward our endeavor, we're going to start to open up to see more opportunities that have always been there, but we just maybe were not open enough to see them.
But you don't necessarily need to be too specific about what you're shooting for, because other opportunities could come along that could get you to a similar goal, but you don't necessarily need to follow that directly. Exactly. Is that
I
right?
feel personally, I do like to be specific. I think specificity is what turns it really into a goal and what
Hmm.
gives you something to shoot for. But I say that, and I also say that release the specifics.
Hmm.
So have a specific, but be willing to um, deviate from
Right.
that,
Right.
when you need to.
Right. So if an opportunity were to appear that took you in a slightly different direction, but still towards your goal, then you should be open to it.
You should be open to it. And there's a kind of a there's a distinction between that and then the shiny ball
Right.
syndrome, because it's easy
We
to
love shiny
sometimes.
balls.
You've got one right in front of you.
That's right. Nice big shiny ball.
Right? So it's really easy to, to mistake some of the shiny balls for like, oh, is this the universe guiding me in a different direction? And so I think that's when we really just have to be super, super tuned in to our intuition, because some of the time, if we're going towards shiny balls, there's a different voice. It
Mhm.
sounds different than something that is really standing there waiting for us, meant for us to kind of change directions. That is going to be a little bit more of a subtle voice, and that you hone into listening to that voice, I think through connecting with it every day and having a relationship with that voice and doing your morning meditation and journaling and just, really listening.
So if somebody were wanted to start in this, let's say somebody's sort of like kind of lost in life and they kind of have an idea of what they want to do, but they're not really sure how to do it. How would somebody begin this
So
practice?
So the very first step, I believe, to begin, well, would be one, just to learn about the law of attraction. I always encourage people to read about, learn about, and understand what it is before really making any determinations on, does this really exist or not? Because a lot of people, they get their information from different sources. There's so many different sources and so many different opinions about how it works, why it works. And I think one of the reasons, like getting back to your original question earlier, which was, how do you get people to believe in it? I think people would believe in it if they understood what it really was.
Mm,
If they understood that it really is just all about aligning your thoughts and your emotions and your actions and your behaviors with a definite goal, a definite endpoint that you're aiming toward. It's just kind of logical, rational, common sense. But the way that some movies and books and things, have, introduced this topic to people, it seems so magical. It
right.
seems
All I have to do is think about the lottery win and it happens, right? That sort of thing.
exactly. Exactly. And so for that, for the people who have picked up on this idea that there's some kind of hocus pocus or magic that's happening, and all I have to do is just wishful thinking, just wish, wish, wish,
Yeah.
and don't necessarily need to take any action. Well, I would agree with you. That's not true. That's not the way that it works. And so, just understanding the way that it works. And then once you do have that understanding of how it works, then starting by figuring out, what do I want? What is it
Mm,
that I really, really want? And honing in on, one very specific goal. I would even suggest people start with a small goal,
mm,
something that they can achieve in a more reasonable period of time. Like, if you are an entrepreneur and you have a goal of, being a millionaire, okay, but you're only making $1,000 a month at your business, probably the chances are that it's going to take you a little time. You just have to work with the laws of nature and where you're at right now
right.
and just be honest with yourself. It might take you 5 years
Hmm.
to achieve that. It might take you
Yeah.
10 years if you're really hard-headed. Um,
Everything always takes longer than you think. That's one of my phrases.
exactly. But, so set some goals for, this week, this month, that are achievable, that you can actually believe. Just like Napoleon and Hill and Think and Grow Rich says, if you can conceive of it and you can believe it, then you can achieve it.
Yeah.
So the truth of the matter is, people may not necessarily, maybe they conceive of it, but maybe they don't actually believe it. And I think
Mm,
belief is it's actually one of those things you have to align with. Um, because the belief, which of course is in the subconscious mind, your subconscious beliefs, that's really what's running the show. That's such a driver of everything. So you set out to achieve something, but your belief gets in the way, and your belief is not allowing you to take the necessary actions that you would really need to take, or it's also not allowing you to stay the course and stay committed to it. It's like, oh, this isn't happening. I'm not seeing results
yeah.
fast enough. So people they stop believing, and or they never really believed to begin with. They just kind of wanted to dip their toe in and check it out and see if this works. That's not the way to approach the law of attraction. The only way to really approach it is you've got to commit to it. You've got
Hmm.
to be consistent. You've got to have the clarity about what it is that you're going for. So that's really the first step, is just getting clear and getting committed and deciding that I'm going to Set this one goal and I'm going to continue to take action steps toward it. I'm going to continue to align myself, my thoughts, work on my beliefs, work on my vibration, until it, and
Right.
it's just that there's
There's no
no
there's no time limit.
there's no
It's
time
until.
limit. If you want this bad enough, like you will work on it until it happens. If you don't want something bad enough, then you don't have enough energy, in my opinion, to manifest it. You need to
Right.
like actually, there's something out there for everyone that they
Hmm.
can really feel driven and passionate toward. So
But you really have to
unless
identify it because sometimes it's not really what you have identified, right?
exactly, exactly.
And I guess the other thing I want to ask was, I mean, some schools of this I've heard are more passive, right? You just have to believe it and it'll eventually happen. Like you don't have to take action towards it. You don't think that that's the case, right?
Right. I don't think that that's the case. Personally, I just have not witnessed that being the case. I,
It probably happens. Who knows?
who knows? That could be my own limiting belief system, right? That
Right.
maybe if you do believe hard enough in something, but personally, I feel like, you do part of law of attraction, action. Action is the thing that actually makes it work.
Right.
And all of the other ingredients of it, having that clarity, thinking in a certain way, visualizing, and visualizing is also so important. Being able to imagine yourself and feel yourself into that end result, because that is what is stimulating and programming the subconscious mind. Because if I had to say one thing that is the biggest ingredient of all, besides action, is getting your subconscious mind on board with what it is that
Mm.
you are achieving. Because your subconscious mind is what's going to allow you to see the actions that you need to take, see the opportunities that are always being presented to you that you may not necessarily be in touch with. Subconscious mind is going to allow you to feel the way that you need to feel and to keep that belief and to keep yourself committed and to keep yourself disciplined to take those consistent action steps toward it.
So let's say you're doing this, you're taking your steps, it seems things seem to be going well, and then all of a sudden sort of a roadblock pops up and you get discouraged. How do
Mm.
you deal with that?
Trust me, I've had to deal with that a lot. And, that discouragement, first of all, just acknowledge it and feel
Mm.
it and, allow yourself to, because whatever you resist persists. So allow yourself to actually, embrace that feeling of whatever it is, the frustration, the anger, the disappointment, and once you have kind of gone through that step of just feeling that, then it's just really important just to realign, and let go of the fact that like it's not happening as quickly as you want it. We
Right.
have to have a little bit of patience. We have to continue to also ask for guidance, ask to be shown, is this really the right direction for me? Is this really the right path
Right. That
for me?
roadblock may be telling you something.
It could very well be. There is, like two ways to really look at that roadblock. It could be just that, the timing is not right. It's not coming up in the exact how I expected it to show up or when I expected it to show up. So it just means that I need to detach and I need to have more patience. But it also can mean that like this isn't the right direction for us. We may have there may be something that's even better. And a lot of times, like for example, when I was waiting for my husband to propose to me, and well, like literally, after I had set this goal for him to propose to me, within like a month of setting that goal, a month or maybe two, and I was visualizing, visualizing, visualizing. he comes to me and he says, "I don't see us ever getting married."
Whoa.
And I
Talk about a
we
roadblock.
literally yes, we literally broke up. I literally broke up with him and I just told him I want somebody in my life. And this is after being together and dating for nearly over we hadn't even been engaged once. We got engaged, we got unengaged, we had lived together, we're not living together, and we checked all the boxes.
Right.
And he basically said, I don't really see us ever getting back on the path to, getting engaged or married. And I know that's what you want. And so I let him go. I just changed the vision. And I
Right.
just said, okay, I'm manifesting the man who does want, that wants to propose marriage to me. So about 3 months later, we ran into each other. He had told me that he'd been thinking about me a lot, and he realized that I am the one for him.
Wow.
And within a week, we got engaged, and that was May 24th, 2007. We got married exactly a year later, 2008.
Fantastic. It
Yeah,
works.
it works, and same thing happened with so many other things, the way that I manifested my house, the way that I manifested my app and my business.
Hmm.
There's always like you're tested. I
Yeah.
always feel like personally, there's always like this little test, and it's a make it or break it moment. And it's just this moment where it's like you either are going to let it go altogether, and a lot of times you do. You have to just like it's just the universe saying you're holding on to this way too
Yeah. But it might
tightly.
come back to you. It might come
It
back to you. Who
it
knows,
very
right?
well might. And I don't like say that, with the relationship. I caution people when I let go of him, it wasn't a fake thing. Like I didn't
Mm.
pretend to let go of him. Like I really did let go of him. Like I really did think he was out of my life forever.
Right.
And a lot of times, because people have seen this video that I have on YouTube about that, and they're like, oh, but so if I just, say that I'm letting go, and it's like, no, I like really, you have
You
to
really
let
have to feel it.
you
Absolutely.
really do. You really, and that sometimes we do have to let go of the things that we really, really want in order for them to come back to us.
Right. Right. Fantastic. So it's the year 2035. It's 10 years from now. Where do you think we're going to be with this? Do you think it'll change much? I'm assuming it won't, but do you think there'll be more scientific evidence, or what do you think will happen to the whole space?
I think that we will be even beyond this. I
Hmm.
think that, we will be able to have tapped into so much amazing scientific evidence and insights about the way we just are barely understanding a fraction of the way our minds work. But
Right.
I think even like with artificial intelligence, let's call it infinite
It
intelligence.
might get infinite one day. No. Artificial
But
superintelligence.
I do think that, just even in the last decade, more and more, you have more and more people meditating. You have more and more people learning about the subconscious and hypnosis. You have more and more interest in spirituality. And I think that it's actually just going to infinitely grow,
Yeah.
and more and more people are going to just be that much more curious and I think we're going to be able to move mountains with our mind,
Yeah.
like
I think
literally.
I think it's going to be similar to what happened with synthetic foods, right? So we had a
Hmm.
period of time where we all ate natural foods. And then there was the chemical revolution and we had all these synthetic foods. So butter got displaced by margarine, right? And then we went
Yeah.
all the way down there. Now we're talking about, oh, seed oils and margarine, those things are bad. We're going back to nature, right? And it's the same thing with this. It's like we went so far down the technology path, the scientific path, we forgot about the spiritual path. We forgot about the alternate because the life is huge, right?
Yeah.
There's way more in here than just the technologies. There's way more than just the science. There's definitely there's definitely things here that are not explainable, and we have yet to tap those things. And I think that's probably part of what's happening here is that we're getting to the edge of things that are unexplainable, and we try to explain them away or say they don't matter, but they're there and they matter, and we're starting to, like you say, more people are starting to get in tune with that side of things.
Exactly. I mean, like, look at all the books on Amazon that are written about this topic now, spirituality and
Yeah.
mysticism. And, I just think there's going to be a broadening of our spiritual selves, and we're going to be much more able to tap into. I mean, I think that we may even be able to read minds and
Mm.
have ESP and just some of those things that we've been kind of blocked about because so much of it is just look at the Robert Richard Robert Bannister, Richard Bannister, when he broke the 4-minute mile running.
Hmm.
And then as soon as he did that,
Everybody
that
did it.
just everybody did it. And I think it's going to kind of happen that way with the power of our minds. We're just going to have much, much more access to being able to tap into the power of our minds.
Do you think AI will be able to help us with this?
I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It helps me with it already. I mean, I actually sometimes a lot of times I don't know how much people like actually realize how useful AI is right now, but like so I have ChatGPT, the app on my phone, and it literally, it has a voice and you
Hmm.
can talk back and have two-way conversations. So I literally sometimes, when I'm out hiking, I'm just listening to music, and then sometimes I just get an idea and I want to brainstorm. And so I'll literally have a little conversation with ChatGPT. And even sometimes I'm just talking about my own personal challenges. I'm like it's my coach.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think because it knows so much, and there right now it's limited in what you can really, really do. But I think we've opened the door to it being able to teach itself.
Yeah.
And that's where it's really going. And once we get to that point, I mean, for us, I absolutely believe it's going to help open the gateway for us to just get more in touch with ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that the fact that it's sort of a database of human experience,
Yeah,
that I think that makes it even more powerful because it can tap into these things and it can tap it in a much quicker way and broader way than a regular human being can. So it can give us insights that we would never be able to get on our own.
absolutely. Yeah, I love it. And I absolutely do believe it's going to help us more than it's going to, with every new technology, with every innovation, there's always a balance. There's the
Yeah.
bad with the good. And so, will there be more sophistication in the bad stuff? Well, yeah.
Hmm.
Just the same way that there is more access right now. When we didn't have the internet 20 some odd years ago, 30 years ago, people didn't have as much access to the bad things that are available on the internet, right?
Yeah,
But now
exactly.
they do. So that's how it is right now, and you can kind of see how that's playing out. There's actually more good that's come about from the internet than there is bad. There is
Oh yeah.
definitely bad, but there is more good. And I absolutely believe it's going to be the same way with AI and
Yeah,
that kind of technology.
exactly. 100%. I agree with you. This has been great. Thank you so much. I love this. It's so eye-opening. We could
Yeah,
go for hours.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we definitely could. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
The best way, I'm going to give two ways. One on my website, victoriamgallagher.com.
Hmm.
That's going to lead you to all the things. And then more specifically, my app, believehypnosis.app. If you go there, you can, download the app, and that's going to give you access to over 1,000 different hypnosis, meditations, affirmations, and help you to change your life for the better.
Fantastic. I'm going to go sign up right now, right after I get off this call. Thank you
Yay,
so much. This has
amazing.
been
Love
great.
it. Thank you so much.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Pixels and philosophies merge and mold, a future untold, unseen.